You're watching Reality Check. The centre's law banning the sale of cattle for slaughter in animal markets continues to be resisted, with at least two state governments, Meghalaya and Kerala, passing resolutions against it. This apart from a stay on the cattle ban from a court in Tamil Nadu. Now, on Reality Check, we've repeatedly uncovered the multiple legal and logical weaknesses of the ban, as well as pointed out how such poorly thought through laws do not just create havoc in cattle markets and in the rural economy, but also empower the dangerous and persistent trend of cattle vigilantism. Leading to the question, what exactly was the government thinking? And are they considering a rollback? Well, tonight I had a chance to put that to the Minister of Environment, Harshvardhan. It's his ministry that brought in the ban, and here is our exclusive interview with him. I do understand the context that this was essentially a series of steps taken to try and ensure that there is a reduction of cruelty in animal markets. But what no one has been able to understand is, what is the connection between that and putting a ban on the sale of slaughter of cattle and buffaloes?
No, you see that,
unless you're suggesting that cruelty is slaughter, which legally it's not.
That has been misunderstood, misconceived, misinterpreted. That has never been the intention of the law or the rules made under the law.
What was the intention then?
You see, I am telling you, the basic spirit of the law, and the law is basically to prevent cruelty. That is the general overall spirit. And when these rules were made, they were put in the public domain for over 1 month. Lot of good suggestions came. They were all incorporated into the rules.
What we heard, by the way, is that only 13 responses came, 13 responses. Cattle markets all over the country, Dr. Harshvardhan, have been disrupted. Sales have fallen dramatically. Farmers, as you know, are already in distress.
You see,
so farmers are affected. Cattle markets are affected. The meat export industry sales have fallen by 30% since this notification has come into effect.
So, you see, number one, right now, there is already a stay on this from one of the high courts, right? So they have, as on today, they have not been implemented. So how can they result in all that? But we have now told everybody, we have made it amply clear, we are not going to allow even a single person, single farmer, single industry to get the disadvantage of these rules in any way.
So will that, if that entails, because the so-called problematic section is section 22, which is the one that bans the sale of cattle for slaughter. So if you find that people are getting affected by it, would you consider actually striking down or removing that particular section?
I do not want to get into the nitty-gritty of any particular section or any particular line, but I can assure you on record that after going through the various representations, after understanding what are the possible likely outcomes in terms of the problems that the people are likely to face, which are being propagated, we will put positive action in place, which will ensure that not a single person will have heartburning on the issue.
Fair enough. Was also one of the reasons for your rethink on this the fact that some of your own party members and party networks in the northeast states, for example, where beef consumption is legal and part of their culture, pushing back on this? And you've actually had resignations in Meghalaya, for instance, where senior leaders of the BJP unit have quit over this issue. Was that a factor as well?
I think that is not true, in the sense that when you will get into the details of those resignations, you will find that those people had some other reasons to
very clearly your district president, well, I don't know about that, very clearly your district president for Garo Hills, Bernard Rimpu Marak, has quit with a statement saying it's to protest the party's stand on beef and in keeping with the interests of the Garo people.
As long as we have a pure heart, we have a clear and pious intention of not disturbing anybody, not causing any harm to anyone. You see, our Prime Minister has a very, very clear motive. He wants to double the farmers' income by 2022.
So this is nothing to do with the BJP's other interest and other agenda of Gauraksha and all of that. And this entire rule is not coming out of that. It's not those politics.
Obviously, 101%. I think I don't know, in spite of repeated clarifications by us in writing, I have spoken to the television channel so many times, even then some of the states, they keep protesting, and I don't know why they protest.
Because the law is still in force.
Absolutely, it's all because of political reasons. I don't see any reason. We have even asked the states, if you have any suggestions, you give us your positive suggestions. We will
let me ask you this.
Also.
Let me ask you this. You said that it's the Animal Welfare Board which has been a driving force behind this. The Animal Welfare Board was recently reconstituted. Now, we went through the list of all the independent members of the board, and you find that out of 10 of them, at least 8 of them appear to be connected to some kind of Gau Raksha or Gau Seva institute. I'll just give you some examples. There is a Shri Mohan Singh Aluwalia. He is the president of something called Gwala Gaddi, which makes 100% premium herbal cow ghee. Shri Rajiv Gupta, IAS retired, wrote a blog on the National Cattle Development Board, a necessity. Shri Girish Shah, managing trustee of Samast Mahajan, which is all about Gaushalas, and Panjra poles have to be built as per Vastu. Dr. R.S. Chauhan is president of Cow Therapy Society and has studied the effect of indigenous cow urine. Dr. Hitesh Jani is affiliated with the RSS and his specialty is Gau Vigyan. Dr. Sunil Mansikha is connected to the Gau Vigyan Anusandhan Kendra. I mean, I can go on and on. There is Shri Dhanpal Singh, who is from the Gayatri Parivar in Nagpur. He is obsessed with stronger cow protection laws. Now, is this an animal protection board or is this a cow protection board?
Let me make one thing very clear.
Yes.
When you enumerate these fellows, you might be trying to derive a conclusion that these are the fellows who made these rules. You see, actually the Animal Welfare Board, which was made sometimes long back to even much earlier than 2013, you see, these rules were not made last week or last month.
No, I am asking.
This has been in process for last few years.
I am not necessarily saying that these gentlemen have helped draft the rules, but I am saying this is the current composition of the board. So, when you say that your actions are not driven by political ideology, this has nothing to do with the Hindutva idea of Gau Seva and Gau Raksha, but yet your Animal Welfare Board is made up 8 out of 10 are connected to Gau Raksha and Gau Seva.
You see, do you think it is a crime to be a Gau Rakshak, or is it a crime to have a feeling of respect for your cow? Cow is considered as a mother in our...
I'm not saying it's a crime. I'm saying that the Animal Welfare Board is supposed to be representative for all animals. But why are then 80% of them only obsessed with one animal?
If somebody has got faith in cow, it doesn't mean that he has no respect for the other animals. You see,
but this is a government body. Don't you want a wide range of technical expertise?
I think the body is very well represented, and it takes care of the overall interests of the animal welfare. I don't think you should have any
you don't think these are too many people obsessed with just one animal on the Animal Welfare Board?
Right now, since I don't know most of them, first of all, this board has not been constituted by me. I have taken charge of this ministry only recently.
So, this is from earlier.
So I may not be able to comment about it in detail, but I can tell you, you see, if somebody is a cow lover or somebody has dedicated his life for serving the cow or for protecting the cow, that is I think a significant certification of his commitment for, you see, our environment, our animal welfare, our rivers, our air. That is our DNA. That is the DNA of this country.
Problem. Let me end with this question to you, Dr. Harshvardhan. That you know, it's one thing to go on sort of saying that it is within our DNA and that we must respect the cow. No one would argue with that. But this is happening in a political climate when repeated attacks are taking place by Gau Rakshaks against anybody they find even remotely suspicious of transporting cattle. The most recent was in a BJP ruled state in Rajasthan, where animal husbandry department members from Tamil Nadu were transporting cattle under a central government scheme, and they were attacked and brutally beaten.
You see, I would say that on record that irrespective of whosoever he or she may be, anyone who takes law into his or her own hand for any reason for that matter, nobody will appreciate that, nobody is going to endorse that, and I am also not going to endorse anybody like that.
But don't you think it's linked to the continuous keeping of a high pitch this cow rhetoric by this government? We have never seen it at such a high pitch.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
It is the media which has made this hype. The
media, all these attacks are the media. You're blaming for the media for these?
I tell you, the realities on the ground actually are different.
Okay.
They do not match with either the perception,
okay,
or they do not match with the propaganda that is actually done by the media.
Right.
Unfortunately, I am sorry to say, there may be aberrations here and there,
right,
but because of some one person in a country of 125 crores, if he does participate in an aberration behavior, you cannot blame the whole system, the whole government, the whole organization,
okay,
and then you keep on blaming and then creating a hype out of it. I think that's not fair.
All right. Well, I don't know if everyone would agree that these are aberrations or individual instances, but Dr. Harshvardhan, thanks very much indeed for talking to us.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Harshvardhan there, Union Environment Minister. I'm also joined by Sachin Pilot of the Congress. He joins me on a live link. Also joining us is Dr. Sinha, Rakesh Sinha, who is a RSS thinker. Thanks very much, both of you, for being there. Sachin, I don't know if you had a chance to catch particularly the tail end of Dr. Harshvardhan's interview, and that's the bit I want to start with, where he suggests that these multiple attacks that we're seeing, these multiple Gauraksha attacks, are aberrations. They're because of media hype, and they have nothing to do with the high-pitched cow rhetoric which this government has kept alive. Do you agree?
I don't agree with him at all. I think the Honourable Minister was just trying to be saving the government's stand. The fact is, Vasu, that all over India, especially North India, these so-called Gaurakshaks have crawled out of woodwork all of a sudden. They never existed before. There is some invisible hand that is giving them all the protection and all the strength to go about breaking the law. Now, if there is a cow protection law in any state, we respect every law, and cow is a sacred animal in our culture, in our society. There's no doubt about that. Yet the freedom of who people want to pray to, what they want to eat, is the fundamental choice in a constitution. However, even if the law is broken, it should be the courts, the administration and the government that actually deals with the person deviating from the law. How can you have these self-styled Gaurakshas coming out beating people and in fact even killing people in broad daylight, and then the government and the BJP, all they say is law will take its own course, it's an aberration. It is not a coincidence that every day you're hearing more of these thugs coming out in the open in the name of cow, which is a sacred animal. They're doing thuggery, and they're, by the way, they're resorting to medieval justice, which today's India can ill afford.
Let me take that to Rakesh Sinha. Rakesh Sinha, that, this is not a situation which calls for just general platitudes about saying that we are against violence, we will condemn any violence generically. Of course, everyone is against violence. That goes without saying. This is a very specific kind of violence that we're seeing again and again. And why is it that we don't hear more of the senior leadership of the BJP or the Sangh Parivar coming out and specifically condemning this, and instead repeatedly just talking up the cow? Passing laws, enforcing stricter and stricter cattle bans, all of that.
I object calling such criminals as a cow protectors. In fact, you are insulting those who genuinely serve the cows and protect the cows. I have two examples.
How am I insulting them? I'm saying that they call themselves Gaurakshas. We can call them anything you like. We can call them cow terrorists. No, that's not a problem.
Sir Srinivasan ji, if a rapist would call he is a humanist, would you call a humanist? It is not these people who define themselves. It is the civil society who will define.
But that's not my question, though.
I am happy that no organization in this country,
But that's not my question. My question is, why is it that we don't hear a more clear, continuous condemnation about this phenomenon of these cow vigilantes and the violence they cause from senior leaders of the Sangh Parivar and senior leaders and ministers of this government? Why don't we hear more of that?
Sir, how could you miss the statement made by Mohan Bhagwat ji? he categorically said those who are indulging in violence, they have no connection with Hindutva, we are not with them, we condemn the violence, law should take its own course. This is a categorical, unambiguous statement by Mohan Bhagwat ji, RSS chief, the top leader of Hindutva. Secondly, Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji made a categorical statement. Look, it's right from Constituent Assembly debate till the date. And before the Constituent Assembly, I don't want to go back. Sorry, protection.
I don't want to go back to Constituent Assembly because this has nothing to do with the Constituent Assembly.
I could not understand.
Sachin Pilot. Okay, let Sachin Pilot respond to the point that Mohan Bhagwat has issued a condemnation.
What do you want from me?
Okay, do you think Sachin Pilot that condemnations of that kind? It's good if he's issued the condemnation, but do we need more of it?
But I think that's the least anybody in his position could do. But mere lip service, whether it's Mr. Mohan Bhagwat, whether it's the Prime Minister, I think the lip service is not enough. Let me tell you one thing, Vasu. In this country, it's not the severity of punishment. It is the surety of punishment that is a deterrent. I think if there were no, if people are saying that these are criminals, they should be taken to task, then why is it that there is no action taken against such people? There is obviously somebody giving them the support and tacit support. Otherwise, I can tell you, if a government of a state decides that no such action will take place, all these so-called Gaurakshaks will disappear overnight.